There are multiple ways of improving the smoothness of footage when using a gimbal. There's no guarantee that shots are going to be 100% smooth. In this series of videos, we've been looking at all the methods how to get smoother shots, and in this video we're looking at how distance and focal length affects the gimbal smoothness. The further you are away from subjects, the more the shots will appear smooth, and conversely, the closer objects are to this camera, the less smooth it will appear. So when you are close, any small movements, whether from the camera operator or subject, appears exaggerated. This has to do with parallax and field of view. The first effect is parallax distortion. This is when the camera moves even slightly, nearby objects seem to shift position more dramatically against the background than distant ones. It's like when you are in a car and the street signs seem to zip past while mountains barely move. The next effect is magnified motion. Think of it like this. If you hold your hand right in front of your face and move it slightly, it seems to move a lot. But if it's waved across the room, the same motion is barely noticeable. The camera behaves the same way, so close subjects translate in major motion on screen. The third effect is wide angle effect. Many close-up shots are done with wide angle lenses to maintain context, and these tend to emphasize motion distortion at close range. So even a minor camera shake can bend lines and exaggerate motion wildly. A shot with landscape will contain objects far away from the camera and they won't move much even if the camera moves, and so it's going to appear smoother. Large objects in particular will be less affected by camera micromovements, whereas objects closer to the camera in the foreground will be more affected by micromovements. This is due to optical properties of lenses magnifying lens movements much more. When a camera moves even a small distance, movement can appear exaggerated the closer the camera is to the subject. This can be used to advantage if doing a dolly slider shot, for example, as foreground objects can be used to create a bigger sense of movement in the shot. In addition to distance to subject, the lens focal length can also be a large contributing factor in smoothness of footage. Put a zoom lens on a camera and the field of view is greatly compressed. The slightest shift in position of camera or subject will be magnified by the zoom factor. And of course, using a macro lens or close-up filter will have a double whammy, as not only is the subject magnified by a factor, but it's also extremely close to the lens with a tiny field of view. Therefore, while mechanical gimbals are valuable to get smooth footage, they are not miracle workers. They do have their limitations and can only work within certain parameters. But hope is not all lost when trying to get smooth shots with a gimbal. Here are some ideas and suggestions for you. If you're trying to get close-up such shots with a stationary object, then a tripod with a fluid head could help to eliminate micro jitters. If your gimbal supports it, add some counterweights to the setup. Extra weight lowers the frequency of vibrations. The heavier the camera, the easier to keep smoother shots. If you're using a DSLR or mirrorless camera, utilize in-lens or in-body stabilizations. They can make a subtle but a very important difference, especially when doing close-ups. Tools like Adobe Premiere's Warp Stabilize or DaVinci Resolve Stabilization Filter can help polish things in post-production. But be careful not to overdo things, otherwise you'll get warping or jello-like effects. Shooting at a higher frame rate and then slowing things down in post can make handheld shots much smoother, especially for detail-focused shots. For ultra-close product shots, especially for slow push-ins or lateral moves, a slider or micro rail lets you move precisely and steadily over small distances.